الله أكبر الله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله لا مرض هذه دعوة الدعوة وصلاة القائمات محمد وصلاة الهدي الله إن الحمد لله نحمده سبحانه وتعالى إله الأولين والآخرين إله السماوات والأرضين نستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بلغ رسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به غمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين فصلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد يا إخوة وأخوات في الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل فإن خير ما يتزود به عبده وتقوى الله لأن سبحانه وتعالى يقول في كتاب العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. My dear brothers and sisters, men and women of understanding, I will be remissful today if this topic is not being disseminated. And that is, we live in a time where so many historical things do happen in our time. On July 24th, that was a Wednesday, we had an historical moment that happened to us in the world. The leading country, the leading people to the safety of people has invited an official person that was accused in the world court as a criminal. In the history, has never been done. So these are the things that we must talk about it as Muslims, especially against us, whereby Remaining quiet is complacency. When we remain quiet, it's as if we are condoning such. We fear no one but Allah. And we speak the words of Allah because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do so. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Man ra'a minkum munkaran falyughayyirhu biyadihi فإن لم يستطيع فبلسانه فإن لم يستطيع فبقلبه فذلك الأضعف الإيمان. Whoever see that which is wrong, let him change with his hands. The ulama said, changing with the hand, talk with authority, make sure that things are not the way, the wrong maintained to be. And then it said, if you cannot speak against it, it's an authority. From Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ma yantiqu anil hawa in huwa illa wahyu yuha. He is the one who speaks from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired him to. And he said, if you cannot speak against it, if you cannot use your tongue and speak against it, and if you cannot do that, hate it in your heart. فَذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ. And that is the weakest form. أَضْعَفُ Tafdil. That's the weakest form of Iman. So on Wednesday, a man was invited to speak and to condone as if the almost 40,000 of children and women that were killed, not enough. Over 2 million people were kicked out from their homes, become homeless, as if that is not enough. But yet still was invited a person that will be arrested in any country, but the country that lead for justice as invited, and they gather. And it reminds me of the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Yushikul umamun antada alaykum." Very soon, he's speaking to the Sahaba, the companions. We're talking about over 1,400 years ago. Very soon, your enemies will invite each other. Yushikul umamun tada alaykum kama tada aklatu ila qas'atiha. When you invite people banquet to come and sit down and eat, where everybody is ready to have some food, he said soon your enemies will be inviting one another to talk about how to eradicate you. Sadaqa Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So the Sahaba were shocked. One said, وَمِن كِلَّةٍ نَحْنُ يَوْمَئِذٍ. Are we going to be small in number that day? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, بَلْ أَنْتُمْ كَثِيرٌ. You will be so many of you. وَلَكِنَّكُمْ غُثَاءٌ كَغِثَاءِ السَّيْلِ. Shukran. You will be like scum, rubbish that is packed on top of a wave of water. Anything that is on top of water, regardless, have no foundation. So you're just moving where the water will take you. He said, you'll be like that. Sadaqa Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, so you will be so many. Walakinnakum, this is what we have said. And he said, wala ta'az, I forgot that, but then again, you will be, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take the fear of your enemy from their hearts. You mean nothing, no fear about anything to do with you. They can call to eradicate you. They can do whatever, no fear in their hearts. وَلَا يَكْذِبَنَّ لَكُمْ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ وَحَمٍ. And he will, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will place the waham in your hearts. فَقَالَ قَائِلٌ. So they ask, the Sahaba are they're shocked. This should not be happening. They ask, وَمَا الْوَهَمْ? What is waham? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has eloquent speech. Even the Arabs do ask him, what does that mean? And he explained what waham means. He said, Hubbud dunya wa karahi al-maut. Love of the world, the dunya, and fear of death. Now, this hadith, if you look at it from the top coming down, look at it from the down going up, and it will make sense because it's short. Meaning, if the love of the dunya is in our hearts, definitely we will what? Fear the death, because the love of dunya is in our hearts. Isn't that what we see today? Competing in a high-rise building? Because of the fear, we even help the enemy to intercept when we are fighting back. I think a couple of days in Manchester airport, I've seen it. I believe this is recent. If you Google, you see. A Muslim, a mother with her two sons, the authority kick the face of a Muslim youth with his boots. He has a gun and everything, but it's not enough to apprehend. He kicked the boy in his face with the boots, and put his neck on top of him to arrest him, while the Muslimah crying to save her alone, to save her two children. The other boy is sitting down. I'm giving this vivid picture for us to understand where we are at. Because not talking about it is, they said, when we remain quiet, as-sukutu alamati rida. When you remain quiet is a sign of being content with what is going on. Like I said, I would be remissful not to talk about it. It's a heavy subject. The other son is sitting down looking what is going on. He raises both his hands like as if I'm safe. I'm not doing anything. He went to him as well, kick him and bring him down. Muslims. وَلَا يَنْزِعَنَّ اللَّهُ مِنْ صُدُورِ عَدُوَّكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take fear of you from their hearts. This was a gathering to talk about how to attack another. We're done with Iraq, all Syria, and the one that now is Iran. Suggesting things that is the enemy in the world. We can remain quiet. Subhanallah, what Allah said in the Quran, He said, قَدْ بَدَتِ الْبَغْدَاءُ مِنْ أَفْوَائِهِمْ. They have already said things that are hatred about you with their mouth. وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورُ أَكْبَرُ. What is in their hearts is far greater. The Quran is giving us all this, the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this Quran has explained all that to us. What are we doing? So the ayah that we see in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكَ. Whoever turn away from my reminder, the person will be what? Facing a bitter persecution. So, let us not be looking at this ayah as kuffar, someone who have the knowledge did not come to them. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. we are not going to punish people if the message did not come to them. Message come to us. We see this, we read this, yet still, if we refuse to follow, وَاتَّقُوا فِتْنَةً لَا تُصِيبَنَّ الَّذِينَ مِنْكُمْ ظَلَمُوا مِنْكُمْ خَاصَةً وَاتَّقُوا فِتْنَةً لَا تُصِيبَنَّ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْكُمْ خَاصَةً. Fear, don't fear any calamity, but the one that we should fear the most, the one that message come to us, is the one that will not take only those who are wrongdoers. It will include everyone. Wallahi, it's a weeping moment to have leadership that can do something and they're not doing it. Hubbud dunya. Because if I do, my country will be sanctioned. If I do, my country will not be listening to this. What is it? Nanu narzukukum wa iyahum. The wealth is in the hands of Allah, and we can see how Allah bless the resources that you have in your countries. You can hold it, show a strength, show some spine. Why can't we do that? We can see things that they disseminate from their mouth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala badat al-baghda'u min afwahihim wa ma tukhfi sudur akbar. They have already said what they want to do, and you can see it's a hatred speech. Send us, this is the word, and I quote, send us more ammunition and we would, send us the ammunition quickly and we will eradicate them quickly. Ya subhanallah. Ya subhanallah. So this is something that we all have to weep inside us and to realize that what we are doing, what is it that we are doing that we are not obeying what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said? Because this dunya is a temporary moment. We are all passing through and we're going to go. No one argue about that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Akhir is the best. Is a place to be. Of course, we use the dunya to get our akhir. So what are we doing? What is it that we are afraid of? What is it? Yet still, what we are afraid of is happening to our brothers. I look in India. What is happening to the Muslims is we don't even talk about it. Eradicating, killing, raping our sisters, our mothers, breaking the masajids in India is happening. But we are overwhelmed, of course, with what is going on in Gaza. So we talk about that. When you go to many Muslim countries, this is what is happening to us. They're saying India doesn't belong to, they should move to Pakistan. This is real, it's happening to your brothers and sisters. The least we can do is to talk about it and be aware of it. And then again, why? Why you, Muslims? Why? It's a question that one have to, inshallah, ask themselves. And when you do ask, then you move from the emotion and you start to reason. Wallahi, answers are there. وَقُولِ قَوْلِ هَذَا وَاسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهِ لِي وَلَكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Inshallah, if you can stand and then move forward. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. My dear brothers and sisters, what we should keep in mind, power, izzah, belongs to Allah, wali Rasul, wali al-Mu'minin. This is a clear statement in the Quran. Power belongs, because power, if one need to do damage or to destruct. You don't need power to do them. Actually, other way around. You need power to destroy. That's what, but other than that, kindness is enough to change people's hearts to the truth. This is what throughout the history of Islam is about that. We have so many stories. A man killed a Muslim. He was apprehended, brought to Rasulullah. Rasulullah tied him in the masjid. There's no jail. And they don't have jail. Meanwhile, Muslims have power. This man can be eradicated easily because he killed someone. It's already a law in the Torah. Life for life. However, Rasulullah tied him in the masjid, fed him 3 days. And then after, he let him say, go. He was asking, what should we do to you? He said, whatever you do is justified, but I know you are a man who is generous. Rasulullah let him go. As he was going, he came back and accepted Islam and called all his saying. So this is the history that we have. In most of the defensive war that you may say that we have, anybody attacking you, you defend yourself. That's Islam. But yet still today we are living at the time that we are helping to eradicate our own. We are doing it in our time. So therefore, this ayah, let us not be looking the ayah to non-believers. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. Whoever turn away from my reminder, the person will face a bitter prosecution. Are we facing that? Wallahu alam. But we can do something about it. Individual. Wallahi, have unconditional love for your brother and sister. Unconditional. Start with yourself. Start with yourself, irrespective of whatever differences we have, which we do have, which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam differences is good. It's good. But we have one thing in common. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. This is powerful. Wallahi, it's powerful. Let us hold on to that. And anyone who alter that words, see the person as your brother. And solely your brother. It does not mean to hate others, but to love one another. To love us. And if we do, then we'll be okay. And I'll leave you with us with the ayah of in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ وَاصْبِرُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Do not argue among one another. Don't argue. If you do, your heart will turn away from each other. Thus, hatred will come in. فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ وَاصْبِرُوا. Be patient with one another. Your differences, be patient with it. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is only with the patient one. Ma'aya khasa. Special. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase the love of one another in our hearts. Let us fight our own nafs to love one another. Let us overlook our shortcomings and love one another. And let us start that in our homes, with our wives, with our husbands, with our children, with friends, with our community. Let that permeate with us. And you will see where that will reach us. We will go far. But when you wait for your leader to do that, then you are in a dream world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthen us as ummah and imbue the love of brotherhood in our leaders so that they do the right thing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide our enemies to realize Islam is for them, not for only us, it's for all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us, and then may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthen all of us and remove the huzn, the grief in our hearts. Those who are dead and those who were killed, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them Jannatul Firdaus. And all the families that have this, whether they're victims, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala imbue sabr jamil in their hearts. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen us. Allahumma a'izz al-Islam wal muslimin وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين اللهم انصر كل المسلمين في كل مكان يا رب العالمين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين قوموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا صفوفكم. Straighten your lines. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها بأن ربك أوهى لها يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. قل هو الله أحد الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله. استغفر الله. استغفر الله.